Not since 2017's Dark have I quite enjoyed a time travel film like HBO's CADDO Lake. And I actually didn't know going into it that it was one, so you can imagine my surprise when halfway through the movie we start Martying McFlying our way through southern Texas. If you've not seen the film yet, do save this video and come back. This is not a recap, but an in-depth guide on some of the film's biggest questions. And you'll want to see it anyway, it's worth the watch. Now make sure to like and subscribe, because we don't have a lot of time. The best way to explain a film where characters go back and forth through time is to pinpoint its narrative beginning. This is the event that sparks the time travel, and it's not to be confused with what I call the chronological beginning. The chronological beginning is whatever time is earliest in our story. So in CADDO Lake, the chronological beginning is 1952, where we see the construction of the dam. This is the furthest back in time we go, but it's not our narrative beginning. There's just one problem with CADDO Lake's narrative beginning. It faces the old chicken and the egg problem. A chicken can't be made without first being an egg, and an egg can't be made without coming out of a chicken. So which of these two came first? CADDO Lake is like this in the sense that Anna can't have given birth to Paris unless she was saved by Paris as a child. So what came first? Anna saved by Paris or Anna giving birth to him? Neither can exist without the other coming before it. To make things a bit easier, I've created this family tree. Let's start up at the top where Daniel and his wife, unknown in the movie, give birth to Anna around the year 2014. 8 years later, she'll go missing, but we know she was taken to the year 1952. She'll grow up and fall in love with Ben, where she'll then give birth to Paris. Paris will then fall in love with Celeste and give birth to Ellie. The ironic thing here is that in the beginning of the film, Ellie complains that no one at this family party is even her family, at least biologically. But what she doesn't know is technically Daniel, her stepdad, is her great-grandfather. So where are we going to start? To begin, we need to know what sparked this time travel in the first place. And for that, we need to look at the construction of the dam from 1947 to 1952. During this time, the lake was completely drained, exposing this small area near Goat Island that acts as a portal through time. It only works during times of extreme drought, or in this case when the lake has been drained. When water once again fills the lake, the barrier is literally severed, like what we see happens to Ellie's rope or that crocodile at the beginning. The film never explains how or why this portal is here, or even how it works. Sometimes beings that enter it go back in time, such as Ellie and Paris, or sometimes they go forward, such as the wolves and moths. But what's clear is that when you enter, you come into this sort of in-between world where sound is muffled. Then you come out on the other side in a different time. This traveling comes at a cost. Anna experienced seizures accompanied by hand tremors and ear bleeds for the rest of her life. Ellie and Paris experienced these symptoms too. However, according to the logbook, which tracked Anna's seizures, they only took place during these times of drought when the portal is exposed. So there absolutely is a connection between the portal being open and these seizures. In fact, it's one of these seizures that causes her to crash her car into the lake, killing her. This was August of 1999. In that car was her son Paris, who couldn't save her and thus turned to a life of drugs and alcohol, ruining his relationship with then girlfriend Celeste. Fast forward 4 years to 2003 and Paris has sobered up. His now ex, Celeste, is in town for her grandfather's funeral, and it is highly implied that when the two hook up, this is when Ellie is conceived. But we'll get to Ellie in a bit. That year, Paris ventures out onto the lake to investigate the place he found his mother's necklace. This necklace was likely the same one Ellie dropped at the end of the movie. He's then transported to the year 1952, where he comes across the injured body of Anna. Like Paris, Anna had come through the portal, but from the year 2022. We never see this in the film, but she was chasing after Ellie, who had stormed off from their family's party. She must have gotten lost and ended up here and had this accident. So Paris gives her to these cattle ranchers to take her to a doctor before venturing back into the portal and bringing him to the year 2022. We'll later find out that Anna was adopted by a Bernice and Caleb Reed, where she would live a pretty normal life. She'd get married to Ben Lang and the two would have Paris. From 1952, Paris makes his way to 2022, which is almost 20 years in the future from his original timeline. This is where he's arrested and sent to the hospital after police find him in missing Anna's boat. It just so happens his father is also at this hospital, where he's able to say one last goodbye. His father, like Celeste, for the past 20 years, thought Paris either abandoned them or was dead. And in a twist of fate, when Paris escapes the hospital, it's Celeste and Daniel's car that he steals and For a brief moment, Celeste catches a glimpse of her man who disappeared nearly 20 years ago, and he's looking not a day older than the last time she saw him. The real tragedy here is Paris's death. Surrounded by police, he makes the grueling decision to jump from the dam during a storm. He knows he has to get back to the portal before the dam breaks and floods the lake, making it inaccessible. But during the storm, he's sucked under by the water and cracks his head on a rock and is killed. The dam breaks and the rising water cuts off the portal. Ellie is the second of our 3 time travelers. She starts her journey in search of young Anna, who's gone missing, but her first time through the portal actually takes her 1 day earlier. This is how we learn that it was actually Ellie who stole the boat she had originally tied to the dock at the beginning of the movie. She then makes her way back to the portal, but this time she goes through and it's a month into the past. It's the night she got into a big fight with her mother and threw a plate, so she goes back yet again into the portal to find herself in the year 2005. Here she'll find Anna's life jacket, which looks to have drifted through the portal during her accident, or it's entirely possible she went full speed through the portal and that created the accident in the first place, and poor Anna was either ejected to 1952 with this wound or wound up there after collapsing. While in town, Ellie sees the same bracelet Anna showed her that she found in her mother's jewelry box. This causes her to break into the car, leading to a fight with her 20-year younger mom, who just so happens to have baby Ellie with her. Now Celeste thinks Ellie is the woman Paris left her for, and she gives Ellie 2 important pieces of information. One, that the baby she has is actually Ellie, and 2, the bracelet belonged to Paris's mother, Anna. It's this shocking revelation that leads Ellie to believe that Anna must have gone through time, grew up, and had Paris. We'll see her doing the math and it all checks out. She'll even go to a local internet cafe to see local yearbook photos and how Anna grew up in the 1950s and 60s. It being the year 2005 means older Anna has actually been dead for 6 years, and it's on her Remembrance of Life website we see images of her in Paris. This means that Anna is technically her grandmother. On her way back to the portal, rain rushes in as she makes her way back to the original timeline, and the portal is cut off. She has traveled into the future 3 days after young Anna's disappearance, but now knows that Anna is safe. Her stepfather is there and she finally acknowledges him as family. After all, he is her great-grandfather. But the big cathartic moment happens when Ellie comes home to her mother. The news report on TV and Ellie's story confirmed the man Celeste saw outside the hospital was in fact her long-lost love, and that he never intended on leaving her. Ellie even brought back a print-off of Anna's school photo from 1952 as further evidence that Anna is safe. So the ending is a bit bittersweet. Celeste and Daniel lose their daughter, but can at least rest easy knowing she's safe. We also don't get a clear resolution on the time loop itself. For all we know, Anna will grow up, give birth to Paris, and this cycle will repeat itself over and over again. But this journey has taught our 2 main characters an important lesson. For Ellie, it's the importance of family, and for Paris, it's redemption. He hated himself for not being able to save his mother the day of the crash, but unknowingly saves her life as a child. All in all, I thought this was a fun entry into the sci-fi time travel genre. But what did you think? I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, be sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember, Daddy loves you very much.